The European Union is said to be threatening to take the British government to the European Court of Justice, if it decides to grant exemptions from coronavirus travel restrictions to just France and not all other EU member states. Boris Johnson's government is considering allowing French citizens to travel to the UK without having to subject themselves to a 14-day quarantine period. However, Brussels has argued that this is in effect a form of discrimination and is insisting that Britain extends the offer to any of the other 26 EU countries with a similar coronavirus risk profile, according to the Daily Telegraph. A Commission spokesman told The Telegraph, if there was a member state that was discriminating and was not in line with EU legislation, the Commission would intervene. Leading UK Eurosceptics have reacted with fury to the threats and have urged Mr Johnson to ignore EU law and do our own thing. Steve Baker, the former chair of the European Research Group, a driving force behind Brexit, told the Daily Telegraph, "It is time for us to stand up for ourselves and do what we think is right. People wanted to get Brexit done. They will be surprised if the first time we try to take back control, we end up being sued." Fellow Eurosceptic Ian Duncan Smith also dismissed Brussels' threats. He said, "So what? We make the judgment about what works for the greater safety of people in the UK, not them." Despite Brexit, the UK is still subject to EU law during the year-long transition period. This means that Britain remains under the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice. According to the terms of the withdrawal agreement, any legal cases brought to the court against the UK during the transition will be seen through to their conclusion. A spokesperson for the European Commission said that it would intervene in the event of any discrimination by a member state. He added that people travelling from the same place could not be forced into quarantine on the basis of their nationality. EU diplomats warned that the t.h.r.e.a.tens risked poisoning tense negotiations over the post-Brexit trade deal. Talks have become bogged down over the future role of the European Court of Justice. A diplomat from a country friendly to the UK told the Daily Telegraph, "It is obviously very disappointing that such a move is even being considered across the Channel, and it's certainly not conducive towards a successful completion of trade negotiations after Brexit. The UK could say only people travelling from France are allowed, but it can't say only French people are allowed. And I don't see how it could prove or show France's risk profile is lower than anywhere else when almost everyone's COVID figures are so unreliable." Meanwhile, the European Commission wants to see a return to unrestricted free movement within Europe. In a bid to help save the summer tourist season, Brussels is considering plans requiring passengers on planes to wear face masks, as well as enforcing social distancing on trains. The proposals require airlines and airports to reorganize check-ins and luggage pickups to avoid crowds.